Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Winter, and I'm with Tufan Guven. Hello, hello.
Hi everyone, this is Tufan,
So,
representative at geometricmodels.org.
so we're ready to give you a wonderful introduction to this year's FractalU.com conference online series, and also other exciting announcements, including about our annual conference in October this year. So we have a lot of things to talk about today. It's cool. And Tufan has been, as usual, central in enabling the logistics of arranging all this. Speaking of which, Tufan, do you want to say a little bit about logistics for FractalU.com then?
Of course, of course. So we are very happy to be doing this again annually this year. And so basically Fractal U is a free online global educational project that focuses on the cutting edge rejuvenation projects, healing technologies, sacred geometry, fractal field physics. And this year we have another great lineup of events and lectures. So all this program will be broadcasted from Zoom and also YouTube. So the courses are about 60 to 90 minutes each with about 30 minutes Q&A afterwards, but we are flexible on that. And all courses are on Sunday at 2 p.m. New York time, which is Eastern Standard Time, and 8 p.m. Paris time, Central European time. So the participation is limited with 100 on Zoom. So maybe if you can come a few minutes earlier, that would be great. And if you cannot find space on Zoom, you can always live stream it or watch it on YouTube live from Dan's channel, which is youtube.com/danwinterfractalfield. So our first event will be on Sunday, April 6th, which our program begins. And Dan Winter and Nicholas Fritsch, who is the manufacturer of FireRay, will be doing our first lecture about practical understanding the phase conjugate negentropic science behind FireRay, plasmafire.com, piezofire.com, and firecrystal.com, our latest rejuvenation tech. So basically, Dan and Nicholas will be talking about the foundational basics principles behind our latest technologies. Do you want to say a couple of words about this, Dan?
Yes, that's great. So we want to talk about how we achieved in FireRay.com, which has been so successful so far. The feedback is rolling in. People love it. It's 2 to 4 times more powerful than Therify, much faster, 1/4 the cost. And we explain in detail how we did that, and also how we put this strong Schumann cascade magnetic field in the coil, and how that implosive cascade is centripetal and negentropic. And we go through some of the results reports and the way to use it and the setup instructions. So there'll be a nice conversation about FireRay and about how Nicholas was so instrumental in developing this great new technology. So that's our first week lecture for FractalU.com this year. And while we're there, maybe we should make our other big announcement here, which is our annual international in-person conference, South France. Our 5th international conference in South France has just been announced. It's October 9 to 14 this year, fractalfield.com/2025. And it's because Tufan here has been so brave, I mean, as to undertake the logistics required, but it's the same fabulous venue and fabulous catering and all new speakers, but wonderful new program, but incredible location. And that's all at fractalfield.com/2025. You remember the pictures of where we were last year in South France. It's a beautiful town. Here's some of the pictures from last year. This is from fractalfield.com/2025. And here's
Yeah,
the
we had great fun. Like the friendships and the community participants built there were priceless. And we had so many productive ideas and projects that came out from the last year's conference. So we encourage everyone to check our website and consider joining us this year. We'll have great fun. And last year, all the tickets were sold out in very short time. So yeah, we are very happy to be doing this again together with Dan Winter and Patrick Botte, Valerie Sandelin, and Anna. And so we are waiting for you guys. Come on.
Yes, there's a special price for advanced registrations before June 1. All the details are at fractalfield.com/2025. So yes, come join our international conference. And also then we are going to talk about the fact that there will be in that first lecture about the fire crystal. These will be demonstrating Phi Ray and fire crystal and Therify all at this international conference. And the fire crystals here, by the way, Tufan, they shipped 8 more to us from Texas today. They're coming.
That's great. Great news.
The demand has been incredible because literally here, every single person who's ever touched one of these immediately wanted one because they have such incredible energy. And you can use the breath to pump it and charge it and then point the longitudinal wave from the point, or you can use the piezo fire. It pumps it beautifully to generate that implosive, cool, negative ion wind longitudinal from the directional tip, or the Phi Ray. So all these devices work great with firecrystal.com, PHIRE crystal.com. And finally, we're going to have enough of them to actually offer them because so far there's been a 2-month waiting list because they're so cool, man. Those things are magic. Anywho, so I guess we're now back to we're talking more than about the fractalu.com. We were going to review some of the other events. And the second event at fractalu.com. So that we start at April 6th, this Sunday at 2 p.m. New York time every Sunday.
Right. And April 13th, Gail
right.
Thomas will be joining us and talking about cultivation, bliss, and sovereign energy in young people, including practical tools. And Gail was with us in last year's conference. Do you want to add a few words about Gail?
We had a wonderful few days. Gail came down here again for the second time just recently. And she was telling us she spent some serious time in India learning the Indian traditions. And you know that it has been my dream to be able to powerfully teach bliss practice to young people, for example, teaching them to make alpha in their brainwaves from the flameinmind.com and the Seeing Without Eyes, etc. And so Gail has an actual very formal outline for this lecture of actual exercise and practical tools to teach young people actual bliss process. And she has 2 amazing young ladies, her girls herself, that she has this experience. So you're going to enjoy Gail's enthusiasm on April 13th. It's a fun thing. We like her. She's cool. And then the next Sunday is April 20, and that's this guy named Tufan Guven. That's Tufan right here. Go ahead, Tufan. So,
yeah, so well, we used to do our first classes with my basic visual descriptions, like basic intro to fractal field physics. So this year, I wanted to change that a little bit and add some new context in it, because even though it's very helpful for the beginners, but at the same time, repeating the same thing every year makes it a little bit. So we decided to make it a little fun. So I added a new section to this presentation this year, and I will also talk about how to switch to the next dimension or changing dimensions. What is the principle behind that? So we'll be talking both theoretical and practical examples, from historical examples to modern examples. We will use science and mathematics to understand the principles behind switching dimensions, and I believe that it's very instructive. And then also we will add basic definitions like implosion, fractal field, charge compression.
The classic example of next dimension is when you get that low frequency phonon coherence in the heart brain, and you can measure the effect of that on recursively braid implode embedding in the DNA helix. And so that braiding process superposes the long wave on the short. And that's an introduction to the physics of literally what the next dimension is, because that embeds you in the aura of a larger field. And Tufan has graphics and translates this into something understandable with using easier to understand vocabulary than mine. So that's April 20th, Tufan Guven,
yes,
charge collapse and how we switch dimensions. Then April 27th, Sunday, we'll have Dr. Ralph Arterpol. Ralph was a hero for our conference last year. He took people out on the land and taught practical geobiology, geomancy, and practical dowsing. And in addition to being a rather famous international professor on regenerative agriculture, his new book is about regenerative agriculture, and his title is Raising Our Vibrations, Etheric Hygiene for Body, Houses, and Fields. Remember, it was Ralph also who was involved in our film we made with Sasha about how you redeem ancestor memory when you have too many ghosts stuck in the land. Ralph has an in-depth knowledge of advanced geobiology. He's cool. We like him. So that's April 27. And then May 4, our really wonderful friend, Carlos Avila from Barcelona. Many of you know him. He has amazing empathic skills teaching family constellation healing, and he's amazing. Anyway, so his title there is The Experience of Implosive Fusion in Family Constellation Therapy, how this allows communication with ancestors. And believe me, Carlos has a lifetime of experience. He's great. So then May 11th is Terry Burns. Many of you know Terry Burns from our work with Yofana Minokian and Vincent Bridges and Alan. She's been to many of our conferences. She's the most powerful historian expert we have. The John D. and Kelly stories, she's an expert. So tentatively, the title is The Origin of Physics of Consciousness Movement, his historical walk through with myself and Terry, talking about all the major historical heroes in the physics of consciousness movement. But also, we may probably get into update on Terry's work in the science of alchemy. Remember when Vincent Bridges came back from the Holy Land and talked about where the Philosopher's Stone came from, the Kaaba stone, and what the physics of alchemy was, and then the psychological meaning of alchemy in that fusion. So really cool stuff with Terry. Then on May 18, I'm scheduled to do a lecture when a charged vortex implodes. Directional coherent longitudinal EMF is projected as gravity. Practical examples of new gravity-making technologies. So that's May 18. Basically, when, for example, a caduceus-shaped wave forms inside a Mercury vortex or what they call the EM drive, the caduceus wave shape implodes a charged vortex, and that converts the transverse to the longitudinal directionally out one end. And that longitudinal wave being created down the vortex, how that happens, is literally where you get the push that defines what a gravity wave is. So practical understanding that's a powerful also for how you then navigate in a lucid dream, because you actually create propulsion in your own inner vortex. Then on May 25, Tufan has arranged his good friend Casey House. Go ahead, Tufan.
Yes, Casey House is a visionary artist. He's a graphic designer and also a teacher of synergetics, Buckminster Fuller's lifelong work of principles of geometry. And Casey has been partnered with geometric models on some of the projects, one of them being the Sacred Geometry poster. So we designed the poster together with Casey, and Casey originally did all the graphic designs there. And we are also working about developing our partnerships with Casey and his Synergetics University. So we are planning to create a new poster with him currently. And we are very excited to host him. So he will be talking about Buckminster Fuller and his teachings.
Incredible graphics from Casey here. Yes.
Yes. And you can check his Instagram account, Casey House. It's very nice. And I remember then you also spent some time with Buckminster Fuller.
Oh,
right,
yes.
in his house.
Oh, yes. The jitterbug, what that means about charge collapse. That's the cool thing about Bucky. He was a real expert on the mechanics and geometry and construction, but the electrical meaning of these things is something that didn't happen in Bucky's lifetime. So they call it Buckminster Fullerene, and as both Nassim and I teach that the jitterbug is the physics of charge collapse. But that electrical meaning was beyond Bucky at the time. But if you take what Bucky did geometrically and then understand what that means electrically. But anyway, you can click on Casey House's link at the website, fractalu.com, and you see all those wonderful graphics from Casey. And thank you for Tufan for introducing Casey. We're going to have fun. So on June 1, we have Dahlia Ali. Some of you remember the 3 or 4 films we've made with Dahlia now. She's really embedded in the ancient Egyptian pantheon, and which is really the gods of the Anunnaki. And she's had such intense bliss experiences, some of it with plasma, that she's actually connected to the ancient Egyptian wisdom lineage directly herself for testimonial everyone is impressed with the absolute earnest power of Dahlia's personal contacts with the Anunnaki, for example, Enki and Thoth. It's called Thoth's story. So you're going to hear more from Dahlia from Egypt, and you can see the videos we've made with her. In fact, if you click on her link here on the website, you will see her YouTube channel and some of the videos that we already made together. So Dahlia is amazing. That's on June 1. And then on June 8, in that line, we have our friend Jake from the Astral Urma YouTube channel. And again, you can click there and you'll get Astral Urma. Jake is doing powerful, you would call it astral battles or astral navigating. He is actually related to what's called the Urma Leonine lineage himself, and he represents and collaborates with the Swaru, Pleiadian, Tegatan lineage. It's a very intense story and introduces another view of the Galactic Federation. Jake is a real astral navigator, and now he's using the Flame in Mind brainwave implosion biofeedback to increase his centripetal leverage, which is how you get leverage in the astral, and he's actually doing that work. So Jake is a very cool friend. You will see, and you can click on his link to see his other YouTubes. So the next event, second last, will be Mederic de Goy. Now, many of you know Mederic. His major current project is biocoherence.net, which takes some of what we were doing for many years, realheartcoherence.com, to a whole new level where you spectrum analyze the heart EKG. And from that, you do incredible diagnostics and healing, including outputting customized healing harmonics, healing sounds designed for you, and you'll replace the missing voice harmonic, replace the missing heart harmonic. So when you extend that idea, which he calls biocoherence, you can also output those healing sounds generated from your own biofeedback from Medric's biocoherence.net into the devices, which then feed that piezoelectrically, piezofire.com, and output your own custom healing sounds into also firay.com. And we're going to demonstrate how that's done. And boy, is that powerful. So that's June 15th, Mederic de Goy. And then the final event on our current list, because we didn't really want to go into July yet, that's summer. The final event, June 23, I'm going to do a major galactic history revisited talk. You know that recently we had Penny did several films with us. You can see it's our latest video on my YouTube channel. And Penny is has spent many years as a navigator with what's called the Dark Fleet or the Nachtwaffen. And so how you navigate in the superluminal space is something that she has personal, incredible, powerful experience of. And yet there's a certain point at which, of course, Penny had the misfortune of being kind of abducted into the SSP, the secret space program. And so the way she achieved this involved where they use trauma to split the personality. And basically, it's not much of a happily ever after, but it is a very powerful new look at the history of the Earth in the context of the Galactic Federation and the Draco, the Siakar. It's a very deep and penetrating look. And the thing that's cool is then when you put that in the context of Dahlia's new work that says, oh, you can be a star navigator and you don't have to go through the trauma of the SSP experience. There's a self-empowering way to look at how the humans can become the star navigator directly when they learn to get centripetal in their aura, and the power and self-empowerment of what that means, suddenly giving us the first opportunity to see a possible happily ever after in a galactic history for Earth, which so far looks a bit messy. But we're going to go into that in more detail. We'll talk more. So anyway, we finished with the bang on June 23. What else should we share here now? Tufan, are we doing good?
I think we covered all the subjects, and yeah, basically we encourage everyone to join our free online course and discover new topics together.
So remember, you can see the Zoom link for each week just days before. It's the Zoom link for each week is at the website, fractalu.com, a few days before the lecture. So the Zoom link for this coming Sunday is already up there.
Right.
So we see you 2 p.m. New York time, which is 8 p.m. Paris time, and about 11 a.m. California time. Every week, free, fun, and at the end of the lecture, as you know, 60 to 90 minutes of lecture, and then a fun Q&A. And these things have been popular and powerful. and Tufan is our moderator. And as you can see, we're going to have fun. And meantime, think about coming to beautiful South France later this year. So
Yes.
with that,
Thanks so much, Dan.
we thank you for enjoying the fun of learning with us. Blessings, everybody. See you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.